Hey everyone, Carolyn here with the Wreath Room, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful spring wreath that I call Blue Ivy. Isn't she pretty? So this is a kit and it's available on my website. I'm going to put the link below in the description. The kit comes with a 14-inch grapevine base, 4 gorgeous hydrangea, some blueberries, some baby's breath. These add visual interest and texture to your wreath. A bundle of yellow ranunculus, so sweet. 4 of a white peony, and then some frilly ferns to make the base. So let's get started. So to make this wreath at home, you're going to need a couple of things. Some wire cutters, a pair of scissors, measuring tape, and a glue gun. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to clean up the grapevine. See all of the vines and leaves and all of that sticking out. I like to clean it up. It makes it a little bit easier to manage while you are making your wreath, and it also makes the side that you're not going to cover with flowers look really, really nice. So just take a couple minutes to go around, trim off all the curlicues, all the vines. I use my scissors to try to get all the leaves out. Sometimes you can even bang it to get all the leaves out. But go ahead and do that until you feel like it's nice and clean and you're satisfied. Okay, now I have my grapevine. It's all nice and clean. I did the front and the back of the grapevine. So the next step is to cut up your ferns. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all these ferns off the stem. So go ahead and do that real quick. I'm cutting them towards the end to leave as much of a stem as possible, but I'm just making sure they're all separate. They're all going to be individual stems. And then you throw this away. All right, so we have lots of stems. So they all should be individual like this. So what we're going to do is, first I want you to decide a top and a bottom of the wreath of your grapevine. And then I would pick the really nice side to leave blank. Because we're making a crescent wreath, we want to make sure that the side of the grapevine that you can see looks nice. So go ahead and make that decision on your own. My wreath is a little bit oval. So the one thing about grapevine wreaths is they come in all different shapes and sizes. Even though this is a 14-inch grapevine, sometimes they're a little smaller, sometimes they're a little bit bigger, sometimes they're round, sometimes they're oval. So it's always hit or miss. So just keep that in mind. But just go ahead and decide which side you want to be the empty side. Once you got that down, what we're going to do is we're going to place all of our ferns around the wreath. And I'm going to describe how to do that while I do it. So you only need about 2-3 inches of length on your stem. So if you want to trim them a little bit, you can, and have your glue gun ready. And you're just going to put glue on this stem, and then we're going to start on the side at the top, just like this. Okay, we're going to do 3 of them on the top first. This one I put a little bit further up, and then one more a little bit further after that. And we're kind of making a little bit of a turn with these. Now, if you feel like your ferns need a little bit more glue, you can go in back and put a little dab of glue right on top to give it a little extra security there. So now we did that on the top. Now we're going to do the same thing, the same thing on the bottom. So here it is on the top. And then we're going to do the same thing towards the bottom. So we're going to do the outside one first on the side, like so. Then we'll go with the next one. That one will go a little bit further down, sometimes kind of in the middle. And then this one will go even further down. So you're kind of making your arch or your curved part on each end, the top and the bottom. And I'm going to add a little bit of extra glue just to be on the safe side. And there we go. So that's what we have so far. I don't like this one. I'm going to take this one out and I'm going to move it. There, I like that better. Ta-da! Okay, so now we're going to continue. We're going to come closer. We're going to work on the outside of the circle. And we're going to put one in the top and then one in the bottom, right on the outside. And what we're doing is we're creating a little greenery base for all of our flowers. Put a little extra glue. And so you can see how I've got these a little closer together. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the inside of the wreath. I'm going to cut two of the stems. Put a little glue. And I don't know if you've noticed, but whatever we do at the top, we do the exact same thing on the bottom. So those kind of cover the circle in the center. So see how we're building a nice base here on the side of the wreath? Okay, so now we're going to take two more. I'm cutting these two stems a little bit shorter. These two stems a little bit shorter because I'm gonna have them go this way in the center. So I'm going to put one on the outside. There we go. One on the outside and then one on the inside. So that the center of our crescent has a little greenery. There. Don't worry about all the glue strings. You can get those off later. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I'm creating a nice little crescent base. So I want to make the top and the bottom a little bit longer. So I'm going to add one to the top and one to the bottom. I just think it needed to be a little bit longer. And listen, don't worry about if it doesn't look exactly like mine. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. You want to make your own unique wreath. I'm just giving you a guideline on where to put things, and you can kind of change it up to however you like your wreath to look. So there, that looks good. Okay, so we have 4 more pieces left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the center a little bit. Power off. There goes my Blue Bluetooth. So now I'm just going to fill in the center a little bit, make it a little bit thicker in the middle. I'm getting closer to the center. And remember, whatever you do at the top, you do the exact same thing on the bottom. We've got 2 more pieces left. And a little bit more glue on that one. 1 more piece. There. So now I have a beautiful greenery base. There's my beautiful greenery base. Don't worry about looking perfect. Wreaths are not perfect, nature's not perfect. Just making a nice base for your flowers to go on. So here's what I've got so far. So you can see a nice pretty base. You can see that there's a nice arch being formed, and you have your pretty side over here empty. So the next step is, you have 4 hydrangea in your kit. And what we're gonna do is, one of them we're gonna keep aside. We're gonna use that one later. The others, we're gonna cut. So we're gonna cut each stem so that it's about like this. So, and then you're going to curve it up a little bit like that. Don't worry about the leaves. You can turn the leaves so that they're facing up or facing forward or towards the hydrangea if they're turned backwards. So I think I'm cutting off about, let's see, 2 inches, roughly 2 inches. Doesn't have to be exact. But we don't want to cut off too much because we want to make sure that our hydrangeas stick up high enough so that the wreath doesn't look flat. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. All right, so we've got those 3. So make sure your leaves are facing front. If they're not, it's not a big deal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place those 3 hydrangea right here in the center. And I like to bend the heads up before I place them in. That way they're not looking straight up. They're looking out towards you, for lack of a better word. So place a little glue on there, and you're going to put one towards the top. And I like to make sure it's in there really good. And then, so that's on the top, kind of on the top towards the inner circle. And then we're going to do one below it, going the opposite way. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to form a little triangle with the hydrangeas. And we don't want the hydrangea to be flat on the wreath base. We want them to be a little bit up. And that gives you some dimension so your wreath doesn't look flat. And then I have one more. Let's see, yeah. And that one we're going to put towards the side. So we're kind of making a little triangle, or forming a triangle with the hydrangea. This one's hard to get in. Sometimes you have to really work hard to get these in, and sometimes you need to trim a little bit more of your stem if it's harder to get in. There. Okay, Okay, so now you've got a cluster of 3 hydrangea, just like that. It makes a little bit of a triangle. And they're not flat against the grapevine. You want to make sure they're kind of like dimensional, out, like sticking out of the grapevine. And then I just kind of fluffed the leaves that were on the hydrangea up so they're poking through the bundles, the trio of hydrangea. So this is what you have. Okay, so next we're going to use the peonies. We've got 4 peonies, and what we're going to do is first we're going to move the wreath out of the way, because this is an important part. We're going to take off the lower leaf. You can put that aside. I don't use these, but if you want to go back in later and add some greenery throughout your wreath, you're welcome to do that. I think it has enough, but sometimes people might want more. But what you're going to do is you're going to cut this stem, okay, so that you have about a 3 to 4 inch piece left over. Save these. We're going to use these for the 4th hydrangea. I'm going to show you how to take this all apart and make little ones that we're going to put throughout. If we go back to the wreath, I mean, you can see these little hydrangea. I'm going to show you how to do that. So go ahead and cut those. Take your leaf off. And then cut the end so that you have 3 or 4 inches, and save that, put that aside. I've also included 2 more of these little stems in your kit, because we only have 4 when we cut these, and you're going to need 6. So I included 2 more. So if you find 2 of these in your kit, make sure you don't throw them away. We need them. So we have those 2. And now let's do the last 2. Oh, this one's hard to get off. All right, we'll cut that. All right, so I've got my 4, and then you should have 2 more in your kit. So now we're going to add our peonies. So you've got 4 peonies. Excuse me. You have 4 peonies. 2 are smaller with buds, 2 are larger. The 2 larger peony we're going to start first, and we're going to put them up towards the hydrangea. One of the tips I can give you when you're making a crescent wreath is the larger flowers are closer to the center, and as you cascade out, you use smaller flowers, and I'll show you what I mean when we get to that point. All right, so you're going to take your 2 larger ones. You can do this a little bit to fluff them up if you want. So go ahead and bend the stem a little bit. Like I said, we want to make sure this is a little bit more like 3D. You don't want your flowers flat on the wreath. So we're going to go in and we're going to put one at the top of your cluster, just like that. And then we're going to put one on the bottom, towards the bottom of your cluster. There's no rhyme or reason. You just kind of put it where you think it looks best. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. And now we're going to do the peony with the bud. Make sure your leaves are kind of facing front too. You can just twist them around. Now this one I'm going to put further out at the top. And I'm going to make sure that the bud goes beyond. So we have the flower, and then the bud sticks out to the side. And I'm going to do that down towards the bottom as well. So before I do that, I'm going to take out this fern and I'm going to move it down a little bit. I want it down here a little bit more. I'll show you what I did. See, I moved it down a little bit because I want it hanging down there. And now I'm going to add my peony. And then you should have something that looks kind of like this. So now we're going to take your gorgeous yellow ranunculus bundle. Aren't they so springy? I love that color. So you're going to cut this apart. You should have 7 stems. Let me move this. You should have 7 stems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut the stems so that they're about this long. So let's measure that out a little bit. So you want from the buds to the end, you want about 3 inches. If it's a little less or a little more, that's okay. So go ahead and do all of that. These are so springy. I love those. The color is so pretty. So grab your wreath. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all of these in and around the wreath. So there's no wrong way or right way to do this. It's just I like to put them in between for a little pop of color in between everything. So I'm going to start with the top. And I'm going to put it right between these 2 peony stems. This one's giving me a little hard time. All right, I got to cut this one a little bit. A little bit more glue. All right, we'll get this sucker in right now. There we go. There, so I'll just show you a little pop of color right there. Next up, I'm going to go up towards the front or the top. Now, like I said, the smaller the flower, the further away from the center you want it. But we're going to use these as a pop of color, so we are going to put some of them towards the center. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that because I'm not sure I got it in far enough. There. Okay. And you can bend your flowers to face any way you'd like. All right, so there's those 2. Now I'm going to do the same thing towards the bottom. There. So I'm going to go right there. But the point of putting this yellow in here is to get some color throughout, a little pop of color throughout the wreath. And I'm going to put one down here. Trim that one a little bit. She's looking really pretty. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. Now I need some yellow through here. So I've got 3 left. So I'm going to put in some yellow on the sides. So when you get closer to the center of your wreath, so what else is happening is this is further out from the wreath than this is. So you might need a longer stem. So don't cut your stem too short when you add it towards the center. because then you'll have to push it in too far and you won't be able to see the flower. There. And then I'm going to put one on the inside. I think I'll use this one, it's a little longer. Again, there's no wrong way or right way to do this. It's whatever you think looks good. So I have one more left. I think I'm going to put it, let's see. I'm going to put it in the center. That's different from the sample I showed you, but that's okay. Let's see what it looks like in the center. If I don't like it, I'll just move it. If I can get it in there. It's giving me a hard time. All right, I think I need to trim this one a tiny bit. All right, let's see. You know what, I changed my mind. I think I'll put it over to the edge. There, I think I'll do that. Hopefully I didn't cut the stem too short. And again, don't worry about the glue strings. You can take those off later. All right, so here we have, see how our wreath is getting a nice shape? We've got lots of yellow, we got the blue, and now it's time to add our blueberries. No, actually, we're gonna go do this. Okay, so remember how I showed you or told you that you're gonna cut these little stems and save them and put them aside? You should have 2 extra that I put in your kit. So you should have 6 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just make sure you have 6 of those. And then you're gonna take your last hydrangea and you're just gonna take this part and you're gonna take off the little bundles or the little clusters. Just like that. So you should have 6 clusters. So what we're gonna do is, the first thing we're gonna do is if you have anything sticking out the side of your stems, just trim that off. That makes it easier to insert these into the wreath base. Okay. Okay, so now you have these little, all these little clusters have a little hole right there, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna dab a little bit of glue right on top. Okay, and then you're gonna stick one of these little stems as far as you can, gently, and then put it aside. So we're making little hydrangea stems. So go ahead and do that with all of your little hydrangeas. You just need a tiny bit of glue. I can't see with my glasses on. All right, so you should have 6. Let them dry a little bit, then get your wreath back here. And so now we're gonna put some of these around the wreath. I'm gonna start at the top. I would leave these stems a little bit long at first because you don't know how much you need to push them down through to get them where you want them. So go ahead and just see, I just put that one at the top. Go ahead and put them all around the wreath, wherever you think you need a little bit more color. So I always go the top and then the bottom. That's a little too long. I gotta cut this one a little. Okay, you're gonna have to cut them a little bit shorter than they are. There. So just go ahead and put them wherever you think you need a little extra floral. So I've got 2 left. I think I'll put one over here. And I think I'll put one right there. See how nice and full that's getting? I love it. It's so pretty and so springy. Okay, so now it's time to add a little bit of texture, and we're going to do that with our baby's breath. So this is 1 stem, and we're going to cut it into 2, 4, like 6 little pieces. So let's put this aside. First, just cut 3 right off the main stem. Then you're going to go in and you're going to kind of cut these in 2. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to go halfway and go halfway to the stem and come down and cut so that you have a good stem length on your bottom. So then you have 2 pieces. So go ahead and do that with all of your stems. Okay, so you should have, there's 2 that are slightly longer than the other 4. So I don't know if you can see the difference, but so these are kind of shorter, and then there's 2 that are a little bit longer. So take the 2 that are a little bit longer first, and we're going to put them on the top and the bottom coming out on top of that last fern you've got there. So I'm going to do the bottom first. So I kind of put it in between, on top of the fern, and in between my hydrangea and my ranunculus. I don't know if you can see that, and it's on top of the fern. It's okay if you don't put it in that exact same spot, but I'm just wanted to show you where I put it. I'm going to do the same at the top. And so you can see the top. Now I'm going to go to the side towards the center. So I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to put it right in there. I'm going to put a little extra glue on that one. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, kind of in the same area. See how it's starting to add some texture to the wreath. Now I'm going to put some up here and down here. I love this wreath. I think it's so springy and so beautiful. I love the light colors, and it's a good wreath to make this time of year since we've got all kinds of snow outside right now. This will kind of brighten up your house, or you can save it for springtime. I can picture people who live on the Cape just loving this wreath. It's perfect for the Cape. Okay, so there's that. And now the last thing we're going to do is add our blueberries. So the blueberries have 3 stems, just like the baby's breath. Actually, you could cut this into 4. Let's do 4. Come on. Okay, so we've got, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got 2 longer ones. I'm going to cut the longer ones again, and I'm going to make 2 smaller ones. I don't know if you can see that, but so now I have 2 like this. I'm going to do that to another one. So you end up with 2, 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 2 longer ones, and I'm going to use those like I did with the baby's breath. So I'm going to put one at the top. And then I'm going to put one of the longer ones at the bottom. Then I'm going to put these kind of in the center to create some texture in the center of everything. Sometimes you have to dig a little deep when you get to the end to get past all the leaves. Oh, I love this wreath. It's so pretty. This one needs a little extra glue. Okay, and when you're done, you can just zhuzh up your wreath. If you have any little extra leaves, you can use them if you want. I might put one right here. I don't know if you can see, but I have a little space right there. So I think I'm gonna put one right there. Let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna put it in, see what it looks like, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna take it out. Let's see. This was the leaves from the hydrangea that we took apart. It may not look good, I don't know, we'll see. If you feel like you need a little bit of more greenery in part of your wreath, go for it. Yeah, I'm not sure I like it. I think it's too, I'm gonna take it out. Now I'm just fluffing up my wreath. I'm just kind of rearranging some of the ferns. And there it is. There is our beautiful blue ivy wreath. Isn't she gorgeous? Again, this is available in a kit. I'll put the link below in the description, and you can make this wreath yourself by going to our YouTube channel and creating this wreath on your own. So thanks for joining me. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned a couple of hints on or techniques on wreath making. And if you like my channel, my YouTube channel, please subscribe and push the like button and ring the bell so you can get notices every time I go live. Take care. Bye-bye.